I'm gonna just sort of share with some people some of the things that the challenge that I'm dealing with right now, which is not really a challenge. There's a gift in every challenge if you look for the gift. You get stuck in the problem, or you can benefit from the problem at all times. That's why I'm kind of like, you don't want to mess with me. I have this landlord who is would never ever want to get on her bad side because she's a bitch and she don't care. I've overheard her. Somebody had cancer, really bad time in their lives. She was like, "Let's kick her out." A little late on her rent. Kick her out. She's dying anyways. And it's like, oh, this is who I'm renting from. Somebody that has zero heart. I mean, if I was a place that was renting and I seen somebody had cancer and can't pay their rent, you know what? I'd be phoning somebody to help that girl out. I'd be trying to find some kind of organization that would be able to help this person. I wouldn't throw people on the street when they get sick. That is a sick mind as far as I'm concerned. So she kind of told me who she was in the first place. And then I see a lot of people that are moving out. And the typical landlord bullshit game is when you move out after you've done all of the cleaning that's required of you, and magically they always come up with a huge bill that says you didn't clean nothing, that they had to clean it all. And so I kind of knew that was the game she was going to play because there's a domino effect going on right now. My daughter got a job. At this job, there was a lot of theft and a lot of corruption going on at this job. They work with the public. And so my daughter was kind of, not into that criminal aspect of it. So they started giving her a hard time because they knew, if you're not part of their criminal element, they'll give you a hard time until you quit. So basically what they were trying to do is make her do the work of more than one person and push and push and push and work. It didn't take long before she got injured. So now that she's injured, she can't work anymore. So she's trying to get on this workers' compensation, which legally the criminal corporation was supposed to fill out the forms within 3 days. Well, it took months for them to fill out the paperwork, and then they said, "Oh, the injury didn't even happen here," and like they bullshitted about everything, even her wage, and they said she was only part time when she's full time. They bullshitted about everything. So naturally, that affected rent. So, I mean, we are, the claims are going through. Nothing came in yet. There is a welfare friggin' system. Every time, the corporate structure doesn't follow through on what it is they're supposed to be doing, it affects society. Because my daughter's a very hard worker. She always does the work of 2 or 3 people. She always goes the extra mile all the time. She's always if somebody calls her in, she would go in and fill in for other people. She would be the best worker anybody could possibly want. Very, very proud of the girl. And she has a long history of that, and a lot of employers really, really like her because of her work ethic. But when you see a corporate structure abuse its staff, it does cause a social problem, and we don't ever want to deal with the social problem, so it creates this welfare system, and who pays for it? All of the taxpayers. Everybody that's working ends up paying for corporations not following through on what it is they're legally responsible to. And there's nothing you can legally do. You can make a complaint, but complaints never ever amount to nothing. Nobody ever does shit about it, which is why everything's falling apart. It's not cost effective to do the right thing anymore, which is like, it's a domino effect. Everything's going to fall apart if you're not going to do the right thing. So, late's a little rent, or rent's a little late, and this landlord is like, came up to my door. We tried to phone her, never ever there. The woman is never there to even pay the rent. My rent is paid directly, but my daughter, we deal in cash because we've already had the experience with banking and no, never ever trust banking. Well, this landlord never is there. So every time you go and pay your rent, she's never there. We phoned her many times. She never answers her phone. But anyways, this particular month, trying to keep in tabs with her was next to impossible. So she knocks on my door the other day and asks me what's going on, and I start saying 3 words, and she interrupts me. So it's like, well, do you want to know what's going on or what? And she, yeah, I really do want to know what's on. So I start to tell her again what's going on. And then she proceeds to tell me that I was lying about everything I told her of what's going on. It's like, well, why did you bother coming into my house asking me what's going on if you want to make up shit anyways? And then she was telling me that you can't go and fight this with landlord and tenant. She says, if you do, trust me, I'll harass you and give you a hard time. You don't. Nobody ever wants to fight your landlord if you want to stay. Because at the end of the day, and I've had experience with that I have dealt with landlord and tenant, and I have won against it. But they will harass you, steal, they will cause as much criminal action so that it's not even safe for you to live there. So it doesn't even matter where the justice system works. These people operate outside of the law. And then she proceeded to tell me that, well, after you move, I'm going to have to do all of the, I'm going to be charging you for shampooing and painting. And she made a huge long list of everything she was going to charge me for, sort of like assuming that I wasn't going to leave my apartment clean in the first place, which is the game that they play, is you could do all of the friggin' cleaning, and at the end of the day, they'll come up with a fake bill that says you didn't clean nothing, and they did all of the work. And she literally admitted that she was going to come up with a fake bill, and she says, I know that you won't be able to pay for it, so it'll go directly to collections. So that's the scam. And then I'm thinking, if it's so easy for her to come up with a fake bill, why can't I come up with a fake bill? So that's what I'm kind of thinking of is, and maybe try it out yourself. That's, the collection agencies, you know what, they don't give a shit whether the bill is legal or not. They just, if you got a bill that you're charging somebody and you can't collect, we're in the business to harass and collect. That's what they do, is they harass people until you pay. And they also destroy your credit rating at the same time. They don't care whether you are guilty of anything. There's no, you don't have to be proven guilty to owe money. They just make up shit, which is one of the reasons I don't really give a shit about my credit anymore, because there's nothing I can do about my credit. So many people are destroying my credit without me even knowing it. I could pay all my bills. So why is my credit being destroyed? By other people that just make up fake bills all the time. So if there's organizations that's all they do, why don't you do that? I'm thinking, you know what, that lawyer that represented me that didn't really represent me, I should charge her for failing to represent me, and it cost me a huge bill. These computers that are breaking down, I'm going to charge them a rental bill, $1,000 a day for not picking it up. It's been months since they haven't picked this computer up. So I'm thinking of a lot of corporations that are failing short on following through. So I think I'm going to send them a bill, and if they don't pay within 30 days, I'll give them a notice it's going right to collections. And you know what collections do? They pay you half. So if I charge somebody $1,000, then they pay for that. They'll give me $500 cash, no questions asked, and then they'll try and collect the $1,000. That's how it works. So if you ever want some money, just go and charge somebody a fake bill, send it to collections. They'll pay you. It's like going to a bank. They'll give you money. It's an exchange. It's just a paper exchange. Give them a fake bill, and they'll pay you for it. It's using the collection agencies to work for you instead of that corporate structure. Just an idea. I'm thinking I'm going to give that one a try soon. Peace out.